Still tells you this is gonna end, and the story breaks you, this you can't pretend. Even though you know she's giving it up, you know it in your head, but your heart can't stop holding on, holding on. Your friends all say you're going to fall, it's so running through your head as you get in the car, holding on, holding on.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to the global family. Here we are on Power to Lead show. We have a special day today as we celebrate and commemorate Africa's Women's Day. It's the 61st birthday. Can you believe it? Let me just open with a word of prayer and introduce our moderator for today. This is Power to Lead show with Ntsiki, Ncoco, hosted by Power to Lead with Integrity Foundation. Let's open the show with a prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for being with us, for creating us in your image. Thank you, Almighty God, for being our guide. Thank you for the breath of life in us as we start to celebrate African women and who we are, our foremothers and our resilience, our power, everything that you have given unto us, our exponential power and gifts and talents and richness of the countries and the continent of Africa. We give you all the glory, honor, and worship as we say, Nkosi sikeleli Africa. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. Let me just introduce who is our moderator for today. It is the one and only Amanda Matshaka. Amanda is an award-winning journalist, and she is the founder of South African Heroes Awards, a founder of SA Positive News, founder of Anointed Media, founder of Amanda Matshaka Ministries. She is a powerhouse that is very soft and quiet, but doing exponential great things. Listen to this.
Right now, though, talk about great. She's a great newsreader, well-informed, delivers brilliantly, and I can only mention the name Amanda Matshaka. Right now, though, talk about.
Thank you so much. That's it. Over to you, Amanda.
Thank you so much. I'm always honored and humbled to be a part of this amazing work that you are doing on this platform of our Power to Lead with integrity. I know that you're a woman of integrity. Thank you so much for affording me the opportunity to be a part of this amazing work that you are doing. And today, of course, we are celebrating Africa's Women's Day. It was on this day in 1962 that women gathered in Tanzania under the banner of the Pan-African Women's Organization, and they made their voices heard. And so it was decided on that day that today will be Africa's Women's Day, the 31st of July. And we are so happy that that was a decision that was made, because we believe that women need to be heard. Women have a voice. Women can make a difference. And I am loving this theme of authentic voices from Africa. It is about time, hey, that we start telling our own stories as Africans from an African perspective, right? and drive the African narrative. And so we are excited that we will be doing just that with an exciting lineup of speakers that are coming from different countries. I'm talking South Africa, Botswana, Nigeria, Namibia, and Zimbabwe as well. So our countries are well represented. And of course, I'm excited to hear what they have to say on this important topic. And so I just want to first give honor where honor is due to the host of this wonderful, wonderful show, as well as this program that we are running today, Dr. Ntsiki Ncoco. She is an international speaker. She is a leadership and legacy coach, a bestseller author, and a host of Power to Lead. And so there is so much that I can say about you. I call you Queen Mother. I want to honor you and say thank you for this vision.
Thank you
Now,
so much.
without wasting any time, let's get on with our lineup, which is exciting. And we have from South Africa representing an NGO called SACONO. And I know here on Power to Lead, we afford people the opportunity to introduce themselves, to say the wonderful things that they're doing and who they are and where they come from, what makes them to be here today. Because obviously, if you are here, it means that you are doing excellently. You are doing great. You are empowering communities. And so let us welcome the Queen from South Africa in Johannesburg, Tintswalo Makhubele.
Hi.
Hello,
Good
hello,
afternoon.
Hello, Queen.
Hi. Thank you so
A
much. I'm
queen,
so honored.
uh-huh.
A queen of green economy,
Yes.
a queen of green gold. Thank you so much. I'm humbled to speak on this day, especially where we are celebrating the achievements of African women. It coincides with a year of my birthday where I just turned 60. So when women were already working very hard to give birth to this power, I was conceived. So this is the most exciting space in my time. Tiki, you're wonderful. I can't believe you have moved and sustained this power to talk so that today can come where women are able to converge from all walks of life just to celebrate the women of the continent. I want to talk to women mothers like Queen Zinga. I want to talk to women like Cleopatra. I want to talk to President Sirleaf. I want to talk to Mother Nkosazana Zuma and many others, and yourselves as well, that it is time to celebrate. And it is time we start to make sure that whatever we do is for Africa and we write it down. I appreciate the creation of this space where women are able to come and talk and share ideas. But I'm looking forward to where we shall exhibit all the works that we are putting together to celebrate the women of the continent. I want to talk to women like
All right. Queen Tintswalo is on the road. If you see very well in the car, you see a bunch of spinach. Over to you, moderator.
It is so inspiring indeed to see a queen hard at work and still making time to talk to us and share about what she's doing. And as we have said, Queen Mother, she's on the road, and so we'll definitely not be able to hear her very well. There'll be challenges of connection here and there. But I just love how she started, by honoring our women leaders. And she mentioned the former president of Liberia, who was the first woman president actually in that country, and the first one in Africa to be elected president, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. And, she started well by just recognizing those women who are trailblazers. Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma from here in South Africa, who was the chairperson of the African Union Commission. And so I can already tell that, she's going to take us through, the path of greatness of women who are pioneers. And so we'll definitely connect with her again as things get better. But I'd like Queen Mother to rope you in as we wait for her, to just share a little bit about this vision. Like, why did you want to go with this theme of authentic voices from Africa?
All right, thank you so much, my princess. You know, we have voices, we have gifts, we have the exponential power that is within us as we are women wherever we are. But there's something about women in Africa that we also hear other people telling our stories. Yet we have the voices, we have the power, we have the ability, we have capability and the knowledge to tell our own stories. Because when you tell your story, you tell it with integrity. You know exactly what happened to you. You know exactly how to narrate the story. And you have even the accent. We don't have to change our accents when we speak. I emphasize when I speak, that's how I'm built, that's how I'm created. Let me tell my story in my tough voice, in my tongue that clicks. Xa ndithi gqirha le ndlela nguqonda uthwane makuvakale and ibe the real, emphasis on it and the meaning. I cannot hear about Amanda Matshaka and SA Positive News from somebody else who writes about you because the person knows you from another state. You know your story. You must tell it because it's building up. This is how we were created and also how we have learned from our foremothers and forefathers in Africa. There were no libraries. They would sit under the tree, kangaroo courts, and tell the stories of how to behave, how to leave a legacy, how to lead with integrity, how to build the heritage. So this is why we have to be sure that our culture and tradition is from us. Otherwise, it's going to lose its value if we
Right.
hear it from the third party. Thank you. She's back on the stream.
Great. Thank you so much for that. And over to you, Tintswalo Makhubele. You were talking to us about the women that have paved the way. You can continue.
Yes, thank you so much. I think there's an area load shedding, which is our big challenge. Thank you so much once more. I was speaking to our forebearers, our queens, our mothers, who have started the legacy of writing the story of the African woman. And in this regard, it has impacted me differently. I walked around the world, worked with everyone in various spaces, but I found the agri space resonating very well with the African child, with an African mother, with an African queen. Why I choose the agri space? It's because it is the food basket of the world. The entire world is fed by Africa. No one will lie to us that we are not exporting all our produce to the entire world as a continent. From our fruit in South Africa, our cassava, our grapes, our apples, our yam, our fish. We can mention almost everything that Africa is doing. So we have the opportunity to change the entire world. We have to turn the clock around and teach our young people on how to produce the food that we like, the food that we enjoy. I know in South Africa we have our umngqushu, we have amabela, we have inkobe. It could have a different name in other countries. But now I need to bring it closer to the economic emancipation of the African woman. Following the SDG goals, the Sustainable Development Goals, as African, we're seeing all opportunities through ourselves. Because if our main one is goal number one, which is hunger reduction, we have won. We won't end up with ending hunger, but we will emancipate ourselves economically. And that will influence the type of of culture that we want to lead, because the queen is the one who is leading through cultural diversities of the king. So as Africa, we have the kings and queens. Our role as women is to produce food for the entire village, for the entire country, for the entire continent. How best can we do it? We can do it by starting from home, where we come from, by producing our own indigenous foods without even looking at the genetic modifieds, the GMOs, but looking at the food that as a continent we are able to produce in our own spaces, in our own backyards. And then we will be able to say, as a nation, we are free from hunger. Let's start now to exhibit our own food as women. Let's have women from ECOWAS. Let's have women from CAR. Let's have women from SADC. Let's have women from the East Bloc. And make sure that we are able to have an exchange of the seeds that we are planting. And make sure that we are able to exhibit the different foods that we are eating in our own spaces. And even furthermore, introduce the very same food that we are eating into the shelves in our Spar, in our Pick and Pay, in all the shops that we all buy, so that we influence, because all the influencers with buying power are women. From fashion trends to food trend to music trends to all types to cuisines that we eat, the different food that formulate our lifestyle. So therefore, we've got the key to economic emancipation. We honestly do not deserve to eat GMO food that are modified in the laboratory, because we have all the seeds in our own den that we can start to share and make sure that Africa starts to have a produce that is coming from its mothers. I'm seeing an opportunity now of the younger generation to be emancipated through this by making sure that they open stalls that will cook different African cuisines, that will open different stalls that will sell processed food that are African, indigenous foods. I'm seeing an opportunity where researchers in different universities would start to set up, just to make sure that you and I leave the legacy that was left by the forebearers I have mentioned. We have Nkwane Nkrumah. If you look at the starting of Pan-African Parliament, it was started after the women have started in 1962. So therefore, we are the foot soldiers of democracy. We are the mothers of this political agenda that we need to make sure that it doesn't stop in the boardroom. It doesn't stop in the echelons of parliament, but it stops at the streets of our backyards, where we are able to plant our own food and make sure that it's organic, it's healthy, so that we have longevity and we have beautiful bodies and we are healthy, and no high blood pressures and no heart attacks and all the ailments of the modern foods that we are suffering. Furthermore, I see a great opportunity of revolutionizing the food we eat, of revolutionizing the restaurant lifestyle, of revolutionizing the family life center that we have. Because through food, you are able to invite everyone around you to say, let's share the food that we have. Let's share my recipe. Let's share the seeds that I have. Bring our African seeds from West. Bring our seeds from the East. Bring our seeds from East. Uh, Bring our seeds from the SADC or South Africa and start to do something. My desire from the agriculture space is to see one hub of agriculture for Africa that will be able to pull all these kinds of foods and start a huge export market that will be exporting the various food and fruit to different countries. And I'm not seeing that through food only. Even animals, we have the beautiful Angola, we have the beautiful Nguni, we have our merino goats, and. So there is so much potential that as African women, we can start to generate income and generate legacy of our women. We have the West African Tanzanian mothers who started their own stock fails, where they were able to paint and make and manufacture their own fabrics. That can expand. We have seen cooperatives in Kenya. We have seen cooperatives in Malawi. We have seen cooperatives in South Africa. So there is so much that we can. Let me leave some for my sisters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tintswalo Makhubele, for that presentation. Very insightful indeed. And I just want to pick up from the things that you mentioned during this time that we are just engaging on what you had just presented. You know, you said it well that, you know, Africa is the food basket of the world and Africa feeds the world. But I find it disturbing that in the wake of the war between Russia and Ukraine, Africa has been crying, saying that we do not have enough because we were relying on the imports from Ukraine. And now, in the recent Russia-Africa summit, the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, saying that they have the capacity to give Africa grain. What are we missing? Why do we still have those kinds of talks, those kinds of laments when something is happening in the West and we start crying that we're not going to have much, we are running short, when we have clearly put it so well how rich our continent is as far as food is concerned?
Wow, that's beautiful. I see an opportunity through this as well. Remember, minerals come from Africa, all kinds. All kinds, we can't list them, we all know. The ore, the coal, everything that they are using in Europe comes from Africa. They need to find a way to lure us to constantly ask from them because they know what they are getting. We do not have the machinery to manufacture. We do not have the machinery that produce gold. It's high time in this discussion of BRICS. I'm glad because I participated in the BRICS summit that happened in the country last week. These were the issues with the presidents of the continent. They were lamenting to say, as Africa, it's high time we send the minerals ready, refined as a final product. We can't keep on sending stones out of the soil. We have to re-mine, remanufacture, and send it out. What women can do, we have our own system as Africans. We have the chiefs. Because of parliament, as Africans, we have thrown our chiefs and kings out of the window. And when we throw them out of the window, we embrace the Western culture. In our embracement of Western culture, it looks as if it is the best. We have forgotten our own traditional medicines. We have forgotten our own traditional foods that are healing to us. This creates a great opportunity that as women, we shall have the Women's BRICS Summit alongside the BRICS Summit to enter into this discussion, to reopen the discussion of food production. Food production is in the hands of the women in the entire continent of Africa. I've been to West Africa, I've been to Congo, I've been to Nigeria, I've been to Kigali. I have seen women toiling, planting rice in the water, planting cassava, planting yam, fishing, growing fish that the entire world wants. Therefore, with that, we cannot say we shall wait for Vladimir, we shall wait for the West, we shall wait for the East to bring us. As women, the same way we have forged our agenda of 2063, the same way this agenda was entrenched in South Africa in 2013, which in 1913, we shall make sure that the pockets of the country that are remaining are given to women to start food production that will be shared across the continent.
Well said, well put, Queen, and thank you so much for that. And I believe that it's about time that women like yourselves and women that are organizing sit, at decision-making level, so that the solutions that you are bringing can be then implemented. Because it looks like Africa has a leadership problem. We don't have insufficient resources, as if you're saying. We are rich in resources, natural resources. We are rich in food, food production. We're supposed to be feeding the world, but why is it that it's not happening? But I guess that's another, topic for another day. The leadership problem that Africa has, and I believe that the solution will come from us as women. And I just want to touch on something that I really, really admire that you are doing. I always see you surrounded by young people. How important is it for our women leaders to make sure that they are bringing young people closer to them so that they can train them, so that we have the next generation that is equipped on food production? Because if we just keep all of this to ourselves, we know that the young ones are the leaders of tomorrow. So how can others follow suit, and do what you are doing in equipping our future leaders?
Thank you so much once more, Madam. Let me call you so. Why I surround myself with the young people is an opportunity to pass the baton. Is to make sure that the women who groomed me, the Masisulus, the Helen Joseph, Mama Winnie's, Madame Selif, and others that we can mention that are there. They have mentored you and me, but now who is mentoring the young ones we have today? This is the reason I feel I have a homework to constantly mentor and coach. As I'm talking to you at the farm, we are working with 200 young farmers that we are training and mentoring, just to make sure that we train them on how to produce their own food, how to market their own produce, how to package, how to sort, how to grade, and how to do door knocking. So I see this as a great opportunity to say, during the exhibitions, we shall invite the young people, not of South Africa, but of the continent, to come as well and exhibit their own produce. And in that exhibition, we shall have leadership development, because you cannot produce without leadership. You cannot sell without leadership. You cannot have networks without being introduced on how to do the process. So as mothers of the continent and as mothers of the same youth we are talking about, it tells us exactly that as these mothers, we shall make sure that we mentor and bring up our young people up to speed to understand what needs to be done. So it is a great opportunity to say, along the BRICS summit, women need to start to raise the voice. Fortunately, in South Africa, we have powerful women that we have put up front. And these women are showing signs of moving forward. We have women like DSG Nomvula Mukonyane, who has a capacity to rope all young women and make sure that there are conferences taking place. We have young ministers like, I won't mention names, but we have a couple of young ministers and deputy ministers in the country that are showing signs that the baton is being passed forward. So by so doing, they have influence in the various sectors that we have as a continent. They have influence in the SADC region. They have influence in the ECOWAS. They have influence in the CAR. They have influence in the East Bloc. So by so doing, we need to make sure that all summits, all activities that are done by our presidents of the continent, women are alongside. And when women are alongside, they are leaving no one behind, because it is the role of the women to develop the young ones. So as mothers, we have a great opportunity in this time where our continent is saying, no, we cannot produce anything for anyone, but we shall produce for ourselves to eat. We shall produce for ourselves to make sure that we are able to create the markets. We are able to create the leadership. We are able to leave a legacy of women of your stature. I'm so glad because you are the youngest journalists who have overachieved, overarching milestones, where we are latching around the works you are doing to say, this won't only be on agribusiness, but this will be on IT. Here we are as women of the continent. We are speaking to all the women across the globe through the IT arrangements where women of your caliber are able to make sure it happens. So indeed, we are making strides as African women. We have you as young women that we are tasking today to say, we don't want the South African Heroes Awards, but we want Africa Heroes Awards, where that will start to accolade the gains that our women have done, that we have been able to arrive at this point because information has been shared. Women like Mama Nkosazana managed to come up with Agenda 2063 when she was holding the African Parliament, which is a big document. Me and Mama Ncoco might not be here at that time, but as we move forward, we will be able to leave our legacy because I believe today we are writing her story. Thank you.
I love that. We are writing her story. Thank you so much, Mama Tintswalo Makhubele. You have spoken so well. Indeed, Africa can feed her children. We do not have to depend on handouts, and it all boils down to us as women taking the lead and also sitting, at a decision-making level and saying that this is what we can do. We have seen women pioneering, great movements indeed. And I definitely agree with you that it's about time that we don't only just focus on South African Heroes Awards, but also Africa. Africa is organized. Africa has people that are grouping themselves, saying that we're not going to depend on those that are in government, but we're going to rise up and do things ourselves. And indeed, you have spoken well to say that women should empower the next generation. They should create a legacy. And if you are talking 2063, indeed, Agenda 2063, indeed, it's not going to be the caliber of women that we have now, the ones that are leading now, but it will depend what kind of women are we going to have then by what we are doing to empower the young ones today. Thank you so much, Mama Tintswalo Makhubele. You have spoken so well. Mama Tintswalo Makhubele is from the South African Congress of Non-Profit Organizations, that is SACONO. And if you've just joined us, welcome. This is Power to Lead, and the conference is themed Authentic Voices from Africa. It is Africa's Women's Day today, and happy Africa Women's Day to you. And women are building the Africa that they want. And how are you going to build the Africa that you want? I'll tell you how we're doing it. On this side, we have a wonderful lineup of speakers. You've just heard Mama Tintswalo Makhubele talking to us about how we can do this by making it a point that we have enough food, right, to feed our children as Africans. And now, without wasting any time, we're welcoming our next speaker. She is from Botswana in Gaborone. She's representing Botswana. Her name is Patricia Nkwane. Patricia, welcome to Authentic Voices from Africa here on Power to Lead. Thank you for joining us. Patricia, can you hear me? If you can just unmute. Okay, as Patricia is getting herself sorted on her side so that we can hear what she has to offer. I'm sure she has something great as well to impart on this Africa Women's Day. Let us just be reminded that we are indeed talking about authentic voices from Africa, Africans telling their own stories. It's time that we start, sharing who we are instead of being told by the world about who we are as Africans. We have a voice, and it's now the time for us to share. Patricia, can you hear me? Patricia? All right. Looks like Patricia is struggling to connect at the moment, but I can hear something. Hi, Patricia. All right. As she is trying to connect, Queen Mother, let me bring you back in. And we are talking about, Africans having a voice. We have a voice. We need to be sharing, our stories. Here is Patricia. Patricia, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Great, thank you. Welcome to Power to Lead, and we are talking authentic voices from Africa. You are one of those authentic voices, all the way from Gaborone in Botswana. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you've achieved, and what makes you suitable to be on
Thank you
this
so much
platform?
for having. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, you can just share a little bit about yourself. Who is
Okay,
Nkwane?
like you already mentioned, yeah, like you already mentioned, my name is Patricia Nkwane. I'm an international transformational speaker and coach. I do programs that are all about empowerment for both women, youth, and men, and girl child in our community. I'm a content producer working with So Online Radio, running a program called The Patricia Nkwane Show. It's a radio talk show where we talk about issues that are concerned to women. I think also coming from a podcast that is called Africa in Conversation, which was about finding game changers in Africa, game players in Africa, and talking about issues that are current concern in Africa. Basically, I'm more rooted into the transformation of people in Africa and us getting to a space of realizing that our Africa is on a rise, and what we need right now is for us to have a change in mindset and for us to ride on to the winds of change and intentionally want the change to happen for us.
I love that. Please go on and give us what you have prepared today.
Awesome. Okay. So So earlier on, I did mention that the big part of the conversation that I come in is in change and mindset. What I want to submit to all of you to know is that where your mindset is, your lifestyle will also follow. So basically, we've been in this space where the voices of women have been silenced for a long time, coming to a phase where there's so many expectations surrounding a girl child, surrounding a woman. So much that in growing up, we already know that this is for what a woman can do. This is what a woman cannot do. This how far I can. And so much that, it has been without being spoken, it has been trained unto us to say, as a woman, you need to be seen and not heard. And one way or the other, it silenced us. One way or the other, it got us into a space where we shied away from opportunities. We stayed away from opportunities. Coming to where we are right now, we have women in these spaces of power. We have women in the spaces where we want women to operate, where laws are made, where decisions are made. But for some reason, we still have a challenge as women when it comes to defining who we are, defining what we want, that ambivalence, being in a position where we define what we bring to the table. You come into a room filled with women that are in leadership and you tell them, pick somebody to represent you. Chances are the women in the room are going to be voting for the men to represent, because one way or the other is embedded in us. But for us to shift, for us to get to a point where our voices are heard as women, it first has to start from our mindset, where we get to know that we are enough as women. We've always been enough. There is nothing lacking or missing inside of us. And when we reach that level of knowing that we are enough, then we reach a point where we own up to our voices, we own up to the power that comes with our voices, and we radically raise our voices. Because right now, where we are as Africa, right now where Africa is, we are at a position where women need to radically raise their voice, for their voices to be heard, for the change and the shift to be made. We need women that are in politics. It's high time their voices starts to be heard. It's high time they grow in ambivalence and begin to define what they want and begin to define who they are, begin to define what they bring to the table with confidence, without shying away from what people may say, without shying away from who is looking and how will people define and perceive me, but being in a position where we authentically own up to who we are and own up to what we are coming to bring to the stage. Because one way or the other, we are always going to be running in this vicious cycle of patterns of us always trying to mend, always trying to heal, always talking about intergenerational traumas. But where we are right now, we are in a phase where we shouldn't be talking about the stereotypes, the biasness, and the challenge. We should be talking about women taking ownership and standing out and speaking about raising the voices to speak up. And the other thing that I feel like we also need a shift in mindset of is when it comes to sending down elevators, when it comes to the essence of reciprocity, women sending down elevators to pick more women to the seats of powers that we already see other women, because one way or the other, because it has been quite a battle of us learning how to break the glass ceiling and how to stay in those positions of power. But one thing for sure is one woman in that seat and she exits without sending down elevators to pick more women to that seat, we are always going to be talking the same, having the same conversation, talking the same talk. But it's high time the women that have been able to make it in entrepreneurship, to make it in politics, to make it in leadership, to make it in different spaces, start to go into that sense of reciprocity now, sending down those elevators so we could be able to pick more women to this position, to these conversations, and to this seats where decisions are made, where laws are made, where changes are made when it comes to laws and issues that are concerning women, that are about the concerns of women. And it's high time that we try to invest in that, because we come from a society as African women, we come from a society where it has been programmed in us that, you know, as women, we can't work together. As women, we can't support one another. As women, we can't, if women come together, they end up fighting. And one way or the other, we've learned to believe that. But right now, this is a call to us to say, it's high time we need to heal. We need to heal from all those past challenges, all those patterns of trauma, and reach a standard where we are intentionally about working together, about thriving together, about becoming together. Because the moment we learn to hold hands and go forward together, everything that we ever dreamed of for the women of Africa will be attained. So today, I think for me, it was all about coming to ask women to say, it's time we learn to use our authentic voices. And not only use our authentic voices, it's also time we learn to teach our young women, our other women, in using those authentic voices. And it's time we learn to open up conversations that are about pulling women to this seat where laws and decisions and conversations about women are made. So we could come, they say a bee on its own just makes much of a noise, but when they come together, they make so much noise. And this is the time that we need to come together. We talk this purpose, we talk this thrive, we talk this healing, we talk this becoming together as a tribe of women.
Thank you for that, Patricia. It is quite insightful indeed. As you have said, women need to come together. And I just want to know, in Botswana, how are women organizing? Like, how are they coming together to make sure that what you have said is achieved? How are they pulling together, pulling through to make it a point that women are able to work together and also impact, like the previous speaker said, the next generation of women?
It has been a long journey, but I want to believe that we are there, because coming to think of it, right now we have conversations, we have those conversations where it's not just the tea parties that we used to have, but where we come and we talk about women in leadership, where we come and we talk about women breaking the biases and reading women for breaking the biases. We have conversations that we come in and we talk about women in politics. I feel like right now we are at an international space, and talking of the next generation, we have programs like A Tomorrow Women that is about going into those schools and reaching out to the girl child and preparing the girl child, teaching them while they are young, to prepare them for the woman that we all aspire to see the women of Africa becoming.
Right. And you mentioned that, you are in the mission of changing mindsets, as the international transformational speaker and coach that you are. And of course, in some settings where I get to engage, I always say that, we are free. Yes, Africa is no longer under colonialism rule, but mentally, it shows that, we are not free in the way that things are playing out themselves. Now, take me through just, obviously it's not going to be the entire thing that you do as a transformational speaker, but how does one get to tap to, the mentality that needs to change, especially for our leaders? Because if our leaders can change, then I believe those that they are leading can then follow suit.
Firstly, it starts with you allowing yourself to get into the process of evolving, acknowledging that you need to change, acknowledging that you need to evolve, and also acknowledging the need for evolving. And one of the things that has been a problem with mostly our leaders was the essence of wanting, or that belief of saying, we need to keep things as they were. Things have been working fine the way they are. That essence, that mentality is what has stopped us in the process of evolving, because one way or the other, we are caught up in this vicious cycle of doing things the same and expecting different results. But if we are to want results of change, if we are to want what change brings to the table, we need to first allow ourselves to intentionally want to evolve. So basically, that goes into our leadership as well, to say, what, one way or the other, if we need results of change, if we need change, if we need things to come better and to come different, we can't be doing things the same way. We need to allow ourselves to think change and to want change. And in wanting change, that means now we have to allow ourselves, even in our way of thinking, to start thinking the betterment and not think what has been. And one thing for sure is, when it comes to change, we are always thinking it comes natural to think, okay, fine, what if things go wrong? What if it doesn't work? What if this? What if I fail? What if I disappoint people? What will people say when that? But what if things work? What if whatever that you're planning comes and happens in a perfect way? What if all that you have to go the next step? What if the next step is the winning step? And that means one way or the other, there has to be a shift in also between positivity and negativity, and start to look at things consciously. Consciously means now without judgment. Consciously mean now allowing what is unknown to happen, to say, okay, fine, we've been here, we've been doing things like this, but we've been getting the same results. But now we intentionally allow ourselves to shift a 360 into something else that could work, that could take us a different step in closer to what we want to attain. So basically, that also involves you also being in a position where you allow yourself to be exposed. And exposure is one of the things that are very, very important when it comes to leadership. You can't take us to a place you haven't allowed yourself to experience. So basically now it calls for our leaders to say, okay, fine, go out there. See what's out there. See what other countries are doing. See how they are winning the battles that we are failing to win. Be exposed. And when you are exposed, you know now in thinking, it becomes easy because you are not thinking in random. You are thinking into something that you know is possible and it has happened for somebody. And that calls for us to be intentional in that. To be honest, the whole change and the whole shift calls for intentionality. Without that intentionality, it's always going to be another conversation. It's always going to be that talk of we want this, we want better, we are always going to be here talking Umandla, but still failing to sit together as women and thrive together. So at the end of the day, all it takes is our intentionality. Us intentionally coming together and saying, where are we going from here? And how do we go from here? What is our next step? And how do we carry forward? How do we thrive together? And what do we want to see happening?
That's a mouthful indeed. So you're saying we intentionally need to come together, to work together. We need to intentionally drive towards the change that we want to see. If we don't give change a chance, we'll never know what the results would have been. So I also like the fact that, Patricia, exactly. I like the fact that you're also in the media space, and we're talking about authentic voices from Africa. And talk to me about the importance of using the media to share what Africa is about. Gone are the times, I believe we have to say that, the times where Africa is painted in the light that it's not, and our stories being told by people that are not Africans. How can we use the media at our disposal to tell African stories?
I really used to get irritated when I travel out of the country and somebody asked me, where do you come from? And I say Botswana. And they ask me, Botswana, where's Botswana? And some would even refer to South Africa to say, you're in South Africa. And I'm like, Botswana is a country. Botswana is a country that is next to South Africa, yes, but Botswana is not part of South Africa. And I realized, one way or the other, we are always going to keep explaining Africa. We are always going to keep explaining ourselves. And we are always going to keep being angry about, these silly conversations where you talk about Africa, you talk about coming from Botswana, and somebody asks you a question like, do you have electricity? Do you have Wi-Fi? Is there internet? Do you have phones? We would get angry of those silly conversations. But instead of getting angry, why not use that energy into something that shares the light, into something that avoids the next question like that coming forward? That's basically where the Patricia Nkwane show came up, to say, you know what, instead of people being in a position where they tell stories of Africa from stories of what was told long back, from stories of what was said way back, why don't I create a platform where I tell the stories of women of Africa, bring women from different parts of Africa, talk about their experiences, talk about their battles, talk about their wins. So anybody listening could realize that. But at the end of the day, there is this place. At the end of the day, there is that place called that. There is, besides the Zimbabwe that we know, there's another place called Mozambique. There's another place called Malawi. There's Lesotho. There's Swaziland. I've heard a woman talk, and she was coming from a country called Eswatini. These are the conversations that we need. And media is that space that allows you, it allows you another hand to be in a position where you are able to influence change to a length at which the airwaves or the radio waves can go. So coming in to think of my space in So Online. So Online Radio is a UK-based community radio station. So basically, it being also an online radio station, it was offering me a platform where I could have somebody listening from as far as your USA, UK, Asia, you think of it, Africa. It was offering me a platform where I would have an audience in different places. So basically putting me in a place where if I'm to talk about the women of Africa, if I'm to talk about the wins of Africa, I know everybody that could listen in different places would be able to hear. And this is where we need to thrive in. If you have an opportunity to actually be in that, instead of complaining and always explaining and always being angered by the silly little conversation, at the hard time we also take the different opportunities that we could use to shed the light, the different opportunities that we could use also to share the information and to put Africa in a space where everybody sees it for exactly what it is.
Thank you for that. I couldn't agree more. And, there's the issue of, media censorship and media ownership. Of course, we cannot pretend as if that doesn't exist. But I like the fact that nowadays there are options. As you have mentioned, that you can go online, you can start a podcast, you can have an online radio, you can have an online news platform. You will not be censored by anyone there. You can tell African stories there. So because the issue of media ownership is still a big issue. Would you agree with me, Patricia?
Yeah, it is. It's still an issue. I think also being on radio, you realize that there is in terms of content, there's just so far that you can go. But one thing for sure is internet has provided us this in connectivity, an amazing space where you can be and do whatever that as long as I think also the freedom comes with responsibility. As long as you know what you are about to send out, you are about to go, what you are all about is something that is authentic and something that is worthy listening and something that is shedding a positive light, then there's always means to go about it. I know before I go into online radio, I used to run African Conversation on YouTube and Facebook, and we will have audience and we'll have people asking about the different conversation. I remember we had a conversation on, African Conversation where we had leaders from your far as Nigeria, your South Africa, your Ghana, and we were talking about the interconnectivity. We were talking about the network, the roads, the cell phone networks and everything. And one thing for sure, you get to realize that, there are places where we still have a challenge. There are places where we are winning. There are places, because that is how we get to weigh our success, in realizing that here and there we still need to fix. Here and there we still need to build. But as far as this, we are winning. We are somewhere. We are thriving. We are doing good.
Great. Thank you so much, Patricia. You've spoken well and you have shared some valuable information and insights and, challenging us to think differently indeed. And if we want to see change, we really need to drive towards it. And of course, I hope that as women who are leaders in this platform, on other platforms as well, will be afforded an opportunity to be at decision-making level, as you've said, as the previous speaker said, so that we can have an impact there. Then we can see the different Africa that we want to see. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's only a pleasure. This is Authentic Voices from Africa. We've just spoken to Patricia Nkwane, all the way from Botswana and Gaborone. She is the host of Africa in Conversation and an international transformational speaker and coach. You've heard her. There's so much that we can still do as Africans as long as we get our minds right, especially our leaders. And without being controversial or anything like that, we are now joined by another speaker, from our great lineup of speakers who are talking to us today on this Africa's Women's Day, and where we are saying that, Africa has a voice and those voices need to be heard. It is authentic voices from Africa and women building the Africa that they want. And now we are joined by Lydia Eke, and she is joining us from Nigeria, from Lagos. She is from Unileg, but she'll tell us shortly what is Unileg and what her role is. Welcome, Lydia, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good day, Amanda, and good day, everyone. Happy celebration. The woman remains a very unique entity at a time like this. I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. So here on Power to Lead, we give you the opportunity to introduce yourself and tell us why you are great.
All right, so my name is Lydia Enidia Eke. All right, I work with Unilag Radio Television as a news editor. Okay, I've been a news editor for some years now, and my main role is deputy chief news editor. What I do is more or less like a news coach, a newsroom coach. So we have so many young people who come from different institutions who come to work with us as interns as well as volunteers. So what we do is to train them on what it takes to be a journalist, how to go to the field, how to cover events and other things. This is what we do. Unilag Radio is the first campus radio station in Nigeria. And Unilag Television is also the first campus television station in Nigeria. Although we cater to so many young people, but we function as a normal FM radio station for the radio. And for the television also, we are a commercial television. Although for now, we're still online. Hopefully, we're coming to join any of the digital platforms very soon. So if you go online, you'll find us. So this is what I do. Now, apart from this, I'm also a food journalist. When I say a food and nutrition journalist, I've been doing that since the year 2001 when I was with the Guardian newspapers. That was where I began my training as a food and nutrition journalist. And that has run up till now. So apart from that, I also produce and anchor a food show, a 1-hour food show, still on Unilag Radio on Fridays, and it's known as Gourmet Guide. Gourmet, of course, you know, is the French word for food. So Gourmet Guide is put together to guide all our listeners and the audience about what to eat in terms of food, nutrition, agriculture, health, healthy living, okay, water. And now recently we've added environmental issues, sustainability and food. Because recently I had a training at the LBS. There's a big school known as Lagos Business School in collaboration with Nestle Nigeria. And we were able to see that we've not done much about environmental issues that are food related. And so this is also part of what we bring in. Now, I have a food blog or a food website known as gourmetguide234.com. All we discuss is about food, nutrition, what goes into the mouth, agriculture, water, and all matters that have to do with, especially, our focus is celebrating African food, yes. Because I've noticed that most of our African food, I take example from Nigeria, are extinct or are going into extinct. If you like it or no, many of our food are becoming endangered species. We see that many of our people now want to go for plenty of junk food at the expense of their health. So what we do on the show is to begin to still promote the beautiful, lovely delicacies that come from Africa and also from Nigeria. So this is my focus. And it's been working for a time now. We have a food magazine. 2 editions have come and gone. We've done one edition of the cookbook. There's a cookbook published, and we still want to do more. So what are we going to be doing? Apart from being in the newsroom, I want to tell my story, the African story, through food and nutrition, pushing forth the beauty of the African culture. Then apart from these, I'm also an event host. I MC or compare events. All right, I do media consulting as well. You know now what happens. You know, you don't go through one road. So many roads to link you to where you are going.
Yeah. All right. You know, you are doing so many things and you're doing them very well indeed.
Thank
And
you.
so for today, what have you prepared as far as you know, authentic voices from Africa is concerned?
Okay, so when you say authentic voices from Africa, let's look at the woman. I think for me, the first thing should be the celebration of the uniqueness of womanhood. We live in a time now where you find, oh, a woman wants to be a man. Or you tell you, though I'm a woman, I want to be a man. We're promoting all kinds of things globally that has to do with is it homosexuality and lesbianism? The African story is not like that. Well, for us in Nigeria, the African story, the uniqueness of the woman, you are a woman, first of all. You are born and with your own uniqueness to make a difference in your generation. So that is for me, the first, when I tell the African woman story, that is, I am unique. God in his infinite wisdom knew why he made me the way I am. I did not form it. I had no say when he decided to form me the way I am. So the best thing, number one, is we should celebrate the uniqueness of our identity. If we don't do this, we're going to have so many problems. And one of the problems is complex problem. Yes. So, but every girl child you come across who is an African child, it is time for you to begin to tell the girl child, you are unique. Celebrate your uniqueness. If all the African women look at us today and we decide to say, okay, I'm no longer a woman, I'm a man, will we be here today? So for me, that is the first thing. Then number two, celebrate your confidence. What is your confidence? Many women are cowed. Many women are couched. Many women, especially African women, they are hooded. They are under the carpet. They don't come out to show for the light. Many women are shy. So can we come to a place where we can overcome our shyness, all right, deliberately? We have to be now intentional and deliberate about our life to begin to take a stand and begin to light up our world, especially through visibility and great influence. So for me, that's another one. Then in the media, what is the woman doing to make a mark? Those days, you don't find too many women in the newsroom. But today, you have many women in the newsroom. You have many women who are media professionals who are doing well. The two bosses I've had have been women, Nigerian women, classic, doing very well. Brains, beauty, competence put together. So I want to see a situation where we begin to build this into the African girl, into the African woman, where you stand well. You may not stand to compete with a man, you stand to complement, but at the same time, you are unique. You stand out from the crowd. The man respects and honors you for who you are, not because you are just so dependent that you don't find your own identity. Amanda, am I making sense?
You are making sense, Lydia. Perfect sense indeed. When you are saying that, for our voices to be heard, we need to be unique. We need, to celebrate who we are. You are making sense. Carry on, and then we shall then talk more about what you've just shared.
Okay, so in celebrating your uniqueness, I've mentioned one. You have to just first of all celebrate that you find peace with yourself, that you are unique. All right, and then also go forward to begin to empower yourself. How do you empower yourself? If you need to go to school, please go to school. If you need to learn a trade, please learn a trade. Don't just sit down and just fold your arms and cry over all the misfortune that befalls the African woman. What can you do? If you need to go to school, please go to school. Get more enlightened. If you need to get more education, please, is important. So that when you speak as an authority. I'm sure if all of us here didn't go to school, if we just stayed back at the back of the house, I'm sure we will not be able to do this. So I see a situation where making our voices count, let's begin to do more on education, educating the girl child that, oh, your life is worth more than this. You find there are many parts of the African society where the girl child or the woman is treated like a dustbin. And so she's always relegated. I tell you, it's partly because she didn't go to school. And it's also partly because she has no skill. So if you don't have to go to school, what skill do you have? What entrepreneurial skill do you have? Is it the skill to do very good commerce, to go to trade? If it is the skill in agriculture, why not? If it's the skill in tech, why not? If it's the skill even in food production, why not? Do you know you can make a skill out of your culinary skills? You can make a great skill out of it. So I see the need to enlighten more African women so that we can celebrate more of this. And then the last but not the least, if you still allow me, if I have more time to talk, I also want to talk about violence against the woman. There's so much violence. We read it online. We see it happen, especially domestic violence. You find that many women are battered, African women. Many girl children or many of our girl children or the girl child is like an endangered species. You find many of them beaten, many of them battered, many of them wounded. They can't even talk. How many are being raped every day? How many are being molested? How many are being, mangled? So what do we do? I think that's what we should begin to do now. Let's begin to raise our voices to say, oh, your life can find meaning. Even though you have been raped. I had a girl who worked with me in the newsroom as an intern, And I saw at all times she was always quiet. She was not forthcoming. I took time. She worked with me. Do you know, one day she just opened up. I said, Lydia, you know what? I said, what? I said, I was raped when I was a child. From my 3 years, 6 years, I said, wow. Okay, I want to do a radio program on women and girls. Can you come upstage and tell us what happened? But you are not telling us just because you want to tell us the story, but because you want to heal and also help other girls and other women who have gone through this trauma as well to be healed. And she agreed. I told her, it's okay, send me a voice note on WhatsApp. This girl shared everything on WhatsApp. How the stepfather will molest her, how in the street she was molested, how the mother didn't have a voice for her, and this battered her for many years until she was able to find her feet, came to Lagos and was able to work somewhere and then started going to school. She decided to go for a part-time course and then came to work with me as an intern. But right now she's picking up. The other day she sent me a message, oh, I'm setting up an online radio. I said, fine. I said, okay, you do podcasts. She was asking, please, how do I do a podcast? I said, just pick up your, what's it called, your WhatsApp mic, put your voice there, put it together. You will begin somewhere, not until you have an entire studio. So this is one. I have another girl who comes around to make my hair and my children's hair. And every time she will come, I've forgotten how I connected with her, but I needed a home service. And so she comes to my house to make the hair. One day she was making my hair and she was crying. I was like, what is it? And she told me, like my house, where I work. I thought the woman she was living with was her auntie or mother or something. She said, no, that she's a house help. And that she desires to go to school. That in her entire family, no one has gone to school. That she finds that all her siblings are struggling. They come at the end of the day to help or to help others to stand, but they can't stand. Man, I was touched. I said, you know what? You will go to school. I said, go to the Polytechnic, go and pick up a form. All right? I said, you see this hair you make, save some money and pick up a part-time form, start somewhere. I called my brother. I said, can we get a part-time form from the school close to the house? He said, yes. She wanted to study mass comm. They gave her hospitality. I said, pick it up. The most important thing, go to school. Break the chain of poverty by getting educated. Do you know she went to pick the form and she started? The first semester, she gathered like 4 carryovers. Oh, she cried one day. I said, oh, Lydia, I'm not. I said, you will do it. Oh. You don't stop halfway. The hands of Zerubbabel have laid the foundation. You will complete it. Continue. It's not easy anywhere. So what I did, I shared my story with her to encourage her. Some days she will call, oh, I don't have money for school fees, so we'll send maybe a little token here and there. But do you know the good news? The girl in her final year got married to a young man. I thought it was a joke. Before you knew it, she had a baby. Before you knew it, she has finished her program. And now she's doing well. At least she's settled, you get. She's a bit educated. I've told her, go back and complete the HND. And she's pushing it. The husband too is pushing for her. So we need to just see how to help, not just talk about it, celebrate the African woman, the African girl child. We have to practically begin to look for ways, one-on-one, to begin to help solve many of the challenges that we face.
Wow. Wow, Lydia. You know, I like the fact that you saw that there was a problem and you decided to do something about it. And I was actually going to talk about the fact that, you know, Africa is still plagued with injustice towards a girl child, towards women. As much as now we have advanced at some, you know, to some level, but there are still areas where, female genital mutilation is still practiced. There are some areas where a girl child is still not allowed to go to school. But I believe that in the same areas, there are women who can, you know, open their eyes like you did and notice that, okay, there's something that is not right here that I can do, or come together as a group of women and say we stand for the emancipation of our girl children, that they should go to school. And so I just want you to talk to that, like how you were alert and saw that there was a need and tried by all means to meet it. How can women in these areas that are still so disadvantaged as far
Yeah.
as a girl child is concerned and women are concerned, those that are in the light and in the know-how, how do you think they can mobilize so that they can they can help at least bring about change?
Okay, so if you ask me, I would say first, we should love ourselves. I have noticed, I could be wrong, I've noticed that many women don't like themselves. You find in an organization or in a community, it is the woman that pulls down the next door woman. It is the girl that you know why? We don't have love. You have to develop that self-worth. Love yourself first. When you love yourself, then you can follow what the Bible says. Love your neighbor as what? Yourself.
Yourself.
If you can't love yourself, I tell you, no matter what you do, Amanda, you will find it very difficult to love the next door neighbor. So if you ask me, that is the first port of call. Where the woman loves herself, then you love the fellow woman. What can you do to better somebody else's life? You have to be deliberate and intentional. There is a saying, I'm trying to remember who said it. He said, I must go through this life but once. Whatever I have to do, let me do it now, because I may not pass through this way again. So if we live with that consciousness, we'll see that we have to reach out to those who are in need. If you read the Holy Writ, I think it's Matthew 25, when the Bible says Jesus came to reward, when he came to reward the people, what did he say? He said, I was hungry, you gave me food. Okay. I was in prison, you visited me. I was sick, you visited me. I was naked, you clothed me. And they were asking, when did we do all this? Because we never saw you. He said, when you did it to any of these little ones, you get that believe in me, you have done it to me. So what am I saying? We should look out. We go for community programs. We go to prisons, okay? You get to the prison, the female ward. Amanda, you see many young girls in prison. So what can you do as a woman? You can visit your own community prison and see, just to encourage them, just to talk with them. Okay, you can visit the hospitals. There are many women and girls languishing away in the hospital. You may not readily be able to pay their hospital bill, all right? But you just come around, see them, pray with them, talk to them, encourage them. Do you know it will go a very long way? All right, so you see that family that is having the problem of domestic violence. Then you can be the what's it called? You can be the one to intervene. Talk to the woman, help her mental health, first of all, by talking to her. Okay, this is how you go about it. This is how you go about it. Then if you are bold enough and courageous enough and well endowed, you can also talk to the man. Because many of these men don't even know what they are doing. They think, oh, because that is the tradition. That is how my father did it. That is how my uncle did it. So I too, I must do the same. No. We can begin to make it say, no, you can live in peace with your family. As the man of the house, you can do this, you can do it, you get. Then part of it also is empowering the girl child. Education. If you can send somebody to school, send to school. If you can pay maybe half the school fees, do that. If you can buy foodstuffs, okay, send foodstuffs to that family that is hailing. You can do that. The girl child, so that girl child will not become a prostitute tomorrow. You get? You can say, okay, what do you need? Okay, let me give you an example. One day, I just came in from the US that period. That was 2018. And there's a place I buy fruits. I buy fruits and veg. Okay, I buy fruits from them. I saw this girl. She was just 14. And she didn't go to school that day. She was so sad. I asked her what the issue was. She didn't answer me. She was a bit rude. Normally, I'll walk away. But I don't know what made me stay back. And I asked her, what is it? Why are you screwing your face? And she said, I'm supposed to be in school now. But I've not gotten admission. And all my mates are in school already. I said, so I decided to fast. And so because of that, I said, oh, is that why you are sad? If you are fasting, you don't have to be sad now. God knows how to make a way for you. Don't worry. You will go to school. Don't worry. The admission list will be out and your name will be there. So when I got home, as I was going out to pick my children from school, I took like 3 or 4 exercise books. I came back to her. I handed the books over to her. I said, you know what? Take these books. This is a sign for me and for you that you are going to go to school, okay? You'll finish up. And she collected. She even smiled. She collected. Do you know in the next couple of weeks or so, her name came out and she went to school. She has finished now. She's preparing to go to university. Now, what I'm saying is we have to be very intentional, deliberate about helping the needy, especially the girl and the female. The girl child that is in trouble, what can you do? Maybe you need to help pay a house rent. If you can't even pay, there is somebody that can do it. We have a foundation that wants to reward some people right now, and they were asking for lists. What I did, I just looked out. I saw the list of 2 widows. A young widow who has 3 children, another widow who has 5 children. Then there's this woman who sells by the roadside. She sells roasted corn and plantain. She has 2 girls. The man had abandoned the family and walked away. So I had to push this list to them. These are ways. I'm just giving practical examples. I'm sorry I'm using myself. I'm nothing, okay? I'm just giving practical examples. So
that's
your
okay.
your own example could be peculiar to you where you are. So open your eyes and see. Yeah, some people will not appreciate you. Some people will even misunderstand you. But you know, you do what is right between you and God. He sees and he knows what to do with you at the appointed time. So these are the things we could do practically to help. Then those women who are farmers, you find many of them, they are so battered in their farms. Maybe you could help. I don't know if it's to raise loans for them, grants you get, all right? If it's to help government, you can, for me as a journalist, okay, do stories around them that will draw the attention of government or draw the attention of the community to see how to be able to lighten up their darkness. I think these are more would help us. I don't know, did I say anything relevant, Amanda?
No, you answered it very well. You know, we need to really look outside ourselves. There's always someone in need somewhere, and we always have something that we can offer to help. You know, it doesn't have to be a lot of money. It doesn't have to be a lot of material stuff. Whatever it is that you can share. I mean, you used books that you had to give hope to someone who wanted to go to school, to say that, look, this is an indication that you can go to school. So I like that, you know, whatever that we have, we can use, and we can, reach out and help other people. We're doing the same here in South Africa. I'm part of a ministry that does that, and the Heroes Awards that we talked about the other day, the people there that are doing just that. So it's important for us to do that. I thank you so much, Lydia, for your presentation. I like the fact that you did say that, you know, a woman that is empowered is a woman that has a voice. And so we're talking about authentic voices from Africa. You're saying that we need to celebrate our uniqueness and our identity as women, and also have confidence, you know, empower ourselves. If you need to get an education, do that. And that will definitely put you towards, you know, your way to having a voice. And we celebrate Africa's Women's Day today. And thank you for taking our time to share. And please stay with us as we just continue engaging on this particular topic. But then again, Lydia, I just want to also just want you to share a little bit, you know, what does it mean for you as Lydia to have an authentic voice? What does that mean?
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. For me, to have an authentic voice is to be able to make the right impact, to be able to influence my generation in the right path. For me, having an authentic voice is to use my originality, all right, to be a blessing to my generation. So my voice is in the media. You know, we talk about the 7 great mountains of influence. I'm sure you must have heard about it. You talk about the family, you talk about the media, you talk about education, you talk about government, you talk about entertainment, you talk about business. It's 7-fold. Now, the authentic voice for me is to use the mountain where I'm giving grace to function. First is the family. I find myself in a family, whether it's in my nuclear or my extended family. My voice should be able to make an impact, a great impact on those who see me, who hear me, or who come in contact with my work as a family. Whether it has to do with my children or my siblings or my spouse or members of my family. Okay, that's one. Then for the second mountain of influence, which is the media where I find myself, is to be able to do content that can influence and impact my generation greatly. My content is centered around women, centered around children. My content is centered around news, all right? My content is centered around food and nutrition, guiding the heterogeneous audience in the right path. So for me, that is my voice. My voice is in the media. That's why you come to the food blog or the food website, you find me, I post. I also have a YouTube food channel, Gourmet Guy 234 Kitchen. What do I do here? I teach DIY. DIY is do it yourself. Now, I bring meals that are healthy, immune boosting, that you can prepare in your kitchen without having to go get or buy outside, and yet you can save some money and you can live healthy. That's my voice. That's my own impact. All right. So when I come to a place like this is what I do. Then if I have to go out, I have to go out for community work. Sometimes we go to the hospitals to see the sick. We go to the prison. All right. I need to counsel someone. I need to encourage someone. These are the places where my voice is to be heard. And so I bring the template of God's grace that has been extended to me, all right, to be able to also touch my generation. This is what I look at and I intend to accomplish. So that at the end of the day, I'm an achiever, not just to achieve just anything, but to have made a great impact on anyone who comes across me. I don't leave you the way you met me, but I leave a blessing behind, okay? Where I'm not just blessed now, okay? So I'm also a blessing. If you look at men like Mandela and the rest of them, they've come and gone, but they've left their footprints on the sands of time. So they've been able to not just be blessed, but now they've gone beyond that to be a blessing. So my voice and your voice is a place where we are blessings, especially to the vulnerable generation. The young children, many of them are orphans. To the young teenagers, they are so confused. They don't know which way to go. They don't even know what is right or wrong anymore, especially because of the influence of the negative part of the social media. Even the youth. So these are ways in which we could deliberately begin to talk and see influence. And I'm sure we'll be able to get there.
Well said. Well, so thank you so much, Lydia, for that. We appreciate your time. You stay with us, and thank you for sharing. Once again, we appreciate you. And this is Authentic Voices from Africa. It is on Power to Lead, and we move on with our program. It is Africa's Women's Day. We're celebrating women. We are saying that, women want to build the Africa that they want through their voices, their authentic voices. We do not want our stories to be told by others, but we want to own our narrative, and so we want to share our own stories as Africans. And so next on our program, we are now joined by Tekla Mutero. She is from Namibia, and in the true Power to Lead style, I am going to ask her to just join in and introduce herself and tell us why she is great. Tekla, are you with us? Queen Mother, is she with us?
No, she dropped. So yes, just go to our keynote speaker. Yes, go to keynote speaker. The Queen is online. Yes.
She's back on.
No, the Queen, Queen Asabea is online. So
Queen
go
Asabea
to the keynote
is online.
speaker.
All right.
Yeah.
We are honored. Yes, Queen, what were you saying?
I was saying Tekla, I think she disconnected in Namibia, but we have the keynote speaker. So let's go on with the keynote speaker, our Queen Asabea from Ghana.
All right. And we are honored indeed to have Queen Asabea Cropper, aka Queen of Kente. She was born in Tema, Greater Accra, the capital of Ghana. And that seaport is where the equator and the Greenwich Meridian passes, the center of the world, and the same land passes where she is performing. So she's performing in a golf course, very big place, and assigned as a residence bench. She performs occasionally. So she is a performer, and she joins us. She is our keynote speaker. Queen Asabea, welcome, and thank you for joining us here on Power to Lead.
Just a minute. Tekla is here. The Queen is still setting up there as well. So let's have Tekla.
Yes, all right. Let's Tekla is in. I already did say that she joins us all the way from Namibia. Tekla Mutero. Welcome, Tekla, and thank you for joining us.
Just hold on. I'm putting her on so that we end with a keynote speaker. Tekla, just 10 minutes, please. Just hold on for me. Hold on.
Right. So while Tekla is joining us on the line, let me just remind you that we are here to share, on the authentic voices from Africa. What does that mean, really? What kind of voices does Africa have? And what kind of stories do we want to tell? And what role can African women play in making it a point that we tell our African stories in the most authentic manner? And so far, we have heard from Tintswalo Makhubele from South Africa, who shared, a very powerful presentation on how, Africa has the way and the means to feed their children because she plays in that agriculture sphere. And we also heard from Patricia Nkwane, our speaker from Botswana, who is an international transformational speaker and coach, as well as, a host of Africa in Conversation. What a relevant person as well to speak to as we talk about, having African voices heard. And she told us what we need, as Africa, that our leaders need to make it a point that they lead with integrity, and there's a shift of mindset right there. Queen Mother, can I ask you to take over a little bit? I need to just sort out my lighting. My apologies for that. I needed to just quickly sort out my lighting. Thank you so much, Tekla Mutero, for joining us here on Authentic Voices from Africa. It is Power to Lead, celebrating Africa's Women's Day. Welcome and thank you so much for your time and for joining us. And like I said, in true Power to Lead style, I'll let you introduce yourself and tell us who you are and what you do and what makes you the amazing person that you are.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much for the wonderful and golden opportunity granted by our Dr. Kitsomisi. Sorry for pronouncing the name, and our leader Amanda. You are doing inspiring work that is touching globally. My name is Tekla Mtero. I am a woman in the mining sector as an entrepreneur and also a leader, where I am the founding president of the National Mining Association for Namibia, which is called Emerging Mining Association for Namibia. And I am also the board member for Global Entrepreneurship Network Namibia, country chair for ESG, Environmental Social Governance for Namibia, and also international partner for World Business Angel Investment Forum. Due to my journey in the mining sector and also engaging with fellow on opportunities, I went to a stage of receiving recognition award. In 2020, I was recognized with an award as Networker for 2020, one of the Namibian who travel most for collaboration as an entrepreneur and also a leader by Namibian Business Hall of Fame. I was also inducted in 2022 as Emerging Mining Entrepreneur by Namibian Business Hall of Fame. I received an award for excellency in the mining sector by Lead India Foundation. I was also recognized with an award for being champion for startup entrepreneur for ecosystem. I was also recognized with an award for champion of ESG and the multi, as you can follow on my online platform. Yet the point here is being in the mining sector as a woman is not easy, but being an African child give me power and energy to keep in the mining sector. Looking toward the Africa that we want to build today, we have been in many sectors, cosmetic, clothing, agriculture, we can mention them. But how many women are in the mining sector as mine owners? Because mining sector is the economy. Mining sector is our heritage. Mining sector is our wealth, is our future. So I am pioneering, encouraging, raising not only in Namibians to participate in the mining sector, but currently I'm mentoring to over 30 African countries. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here and I'm just listening and thinking, wow, what a wonderful, rich bio in terms of what you are doing. It is so inspiring indeed. Maybe you left me speechless. You even have to
Yeah,
ask, am I there? Yes, I'm here. And thank you so much that you are on this platform,
yeah,
and you will definitely be imparting some of the rich knowledge that you have, especially as far as mining is concerned. As you are saying that not a lot of women are in mining, and you are making it a point that at least where you are in Namibia, and I believe that you're saying you're extending it to other parts of the continent, that women play a role in mining. So just tell us a little bit then about how you are using your voice, your authentic voice as an African woman, to make it a point that women are heard in the mining industry that you're in.
yeah. I could say collaboration between women need to start. Expansion of our network. As we speak, I'm mentoring to over 30 African countries. Although it's both gender, but you will see that women are a drop in the sea in every African country when it comes to my experience. So I could like to encourage women out there that mining is the money that we are looking for to fund our businesses, to take our children to school, to feed ourselves. So in mining, it's not about only to dig. Women can participate in mining as trader. Some of the women are having connections on platform. Why not to purchase from local women those mineral, or to be an agent where you can able to trade? Look, I like the slogan that they say diamond forever. If you look at all this jewelry are manufactured for women to wear. Let me say 80% of the diamond rings, where does it go? It goes to
Women.
women.
Mhm.
Gold, apart from metal and other material they make, where does it go? To women. So it's very important women to play a role in economical brand. If you look at to the agenda of African continental free trade brand that I'm talking about, it's an economical brand that even encourage women. Those are the place and voices that women we need to take part. I am also inspired as an African woman. They said Africa is a woman. That's why we say Africa is my motherland. So
Mhm.
being a woman, we are mothers. Africa is our land. It's high time now to venture in what is underground our land, because we are the owners of these resources. This is a high time where women need to be part of places where development such as economic is involved. And let us keep up this networking. I would like to thank our hosts to host this event. It was not an easy thing. To see that she really have a heart for Africa. I am
Yes.
so happy. I am really happy that she brought me on this platform, because few women who can able to bring fellow women together, like as she did, because some women knows that Tekla does this. Really, women are few in this. Why can't we not collaborate with her? But look at what she have done. So how I make my voice for Africa? Many times I am on international TVs, to station official TV station, where I always inspire the women in international magazine. And even right now, I arrived from Russia and African Leadership Summit. I was
Yes.
there, and I was one of the fewest women who was there in the mining sector as an African local. So we need to remember each other on table of productive, table of decision making, table of growth. We need to empower ourselves. Like to myself, I am open to assist fellow women on in the journey in the mining sector, where they need guidance, where they need how to start, uh, so that we can join hands together, so we can
Right.
advise where you have to start. If you are in your country, as I say, I'm pioneering to over 30 African countries that I am connected. We can connect that if you are in this country, do A and B, or let's join hands to do. So that's how I am doing. Mostly follow what I'm doing on my timeline or LinkedIn updates, and let's venture in economical businesses. Let's
Yeah.
be, let's
Indeed.
let's be in area where women are a drop in the sea, where women are few. It's time for us to challenge ourselves to go out of our zone. That a woman is not only to sell clothes, a woman is not only to sell makeups, a woman is not only it's not only to be a worker in a mining sector where women are harassed and all those things, but if we can own our resources, it gives us confidence, it give us, it groom us, and we are going to be independent, not to only bring food on our table, but we are going to sponsor schools, we are going to build clinics. I was looking, if even 10 women own mining license, we can be the first African woman to buy a plane. That this is a plane for that women have done.
I
All
like
these
that.
spending things, all these spending things, it's waiting on women to start. Men have started, but it's waiting on us. Women are facing financial challenges to be in mining sector and different sector. What are we doing? Let's start fundraising, continental fundraising, where we can have women bank, women development bank, African women development bank, which will raise other women from the ground. We need to be action doer. We need to be practical and doer. So my wish is women to have African Women Development Bank, which will raise vulnerable women who have a lot of ideas through our minerals. So in that
Wow.
way, we can build the African that we need. Because if we don't have powerful business that can challenge the main gender, what we are doing is difficult. And talk without value,
Yeah.
we can't go anywhere. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tekla, for that. And I just want to pick up on some of the things that you said. I love that you mentioned that women need to come together and work together, and you're already doing that. I mean, if you are overseeing over 30 countries already, you're doing an amazing job. But I just want to understand, why do you think that even though and the opportunity has been open for some time for women to be in the mining sector. Why do you think we still have few women, apart from financial challenges that you mentioned, but why do you think women are still intimidated to get into this industry?
Yeah, the main challenge also information, because when I joined mining sector, information was not easy, and we lack role model in the mining sector. I tell you, I have to struggle for everything without having a mentor in the mining sector who can be there to support me, to give me strength. What I can say is, the good part is I am like an ant, that little insect that work 24 hours. I work so much, simple because I wanted fellow African to see that there's there's what we are stepping on, what we are sleeping on. It's mineral and it can change our life. Information is a challenge. We lack women role model in the mining sector. You have no one to lay on. If you are disappointed by a male gender, no one who can comfort you. You can even feel like, I'm quitting today. That is up to yourself. And also, women don't have, the women a lack of privilege. If you look at the PP, let me say equipment, where like overall or uniform, it was not designed by like a woman, a pregnant woman who's not ready to go for maternity can wear. So some feel uncomfortable. And also, mining sector for Africa is not groomed. If they are showing women in the mining sector, you need to be dirty, miserable. So most of the young girls and women in the city, they will feel like, I can't bear to be in that mining sector as a woman. I don't want to be in that business. And more more discouraging. It's not only about finance. You feel like, who will assist you? Who will assist you to climb? All those negativity is too high for one to be there. But the what made me to be there is that how many African who are in mining sector? Few. How many women? Look at countries who don't have minerals. They have women in mining this country, women in mining in that continent, but they don't have mineral. But because they have role model, because they have equality, they have gender sensitive law, which is on advantage of a woman, policy that embrace a woman. But those are things that discourage many. And also, few women who are studying courses, like courses for mining. Although in Namibia it was a good progress that the graduation for last year and this year, women took part in a good number. And our background, where we are coming from grade 1 up to maybe the last grade, you never heard of a diamond, or never heard of a gold. It's something that you need to seek when you are mature. So some people miss all these things, because even school kids, to mention diamond is like it's like a criminal offense, or gold
Right.
on over. So things that empower one, it's not there, but we can start it.
We can start it, yes, definitely.
Yes.
Thank you so much. You've spoken well, and it's lack of information that is making some women not to be able to play in this field, and lack of finances, lack of legislation, and policies in place that make sure that women are part of the mining industry. Thank you so much, Tekla, for sharing that, and we'll definitely connect. And we want to be in the mining sector, of course. Queen Mother, I know that. And so it's great to connect with a woman of your caliber. And thank you so much for your time and for the wonderful presentation that you have given us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. This is Authentic Voices from Africa, right here on Power to Lead with Integrity, Power to Lead. And it is a show that is hosted by none other than our queen here on that you can see on screen, Dr. Ntsiki Ncoco. And without wasting any time, really, we have a keynote speaker, by the way. I'm sure maybe you didn't know that, but yeah, we do have a keynote speaker. And her name is Queen Asabea. She is also known as the Queen of Kente, all the way from Ghana. And I'll let her just come in and do her thing and talk about, authentic voices from Africa. I'm sure she has prepared something, and we are all ears and ready to hear you, Queen. Thank you so much for joining us. Over to you.
Africa, 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 beautiful women of Africa. Glory be to the Most High God. Greetings. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Ntsiki Ncoco, founder of the Power to Lead with Integrity, who is hosting this virtual summit. Amanda Matshaka, moderator of the summit, and all our special guest speakers and our global viewers. I am your sister, friend, mother, grandmother, the queen of high life music, Asabea from Ghana. I'm wishing you all happy African 61st anniversary special day. Today is a special day. Once again, I would like to say that I'm wishing all African women a happy 61st anniversary. We are the mothers of humanity, producers of people from all walks of life, presidents, ministers, doctors, lawyers, school teachers, business people, nurses. We are musicians, dancers, actors, artists, farmers, dressmakers, hairdressers, market women, etc. Our assignment on earth is to nurture, to love, to encourage, teach, and take good care of our families. Yes, our people, our ancestors taught us to be women of valor, good wives, and good mothers. Whew. It has not been easy because sometimes our efforts becomes futile. Let's not give up. My sisters, let's continue to be who we are, self-reliant and industrious. Let's promote Africa in a positive way. Let's be proud of who we are and protect our culture and our heritage. We must unite. We must unite. We must unite. Togetherness is beautiful. Let's be like the colors in the Kente Club. The colors represent people of all colors, every tribe and nation is in the Kente, woven together as one fabric. Women of Africa, my sisters, we must build our faith in God, the originator of family life. Let's continue to show love, goodness, kindness, patience, peace, humility, dignity, and respect for one another. The way we carry ourselves must reflect our Creator, Almighty God, our Most High, who never fails us. May the Most High God bless us all. Africa, women, I love you.
Wow, wow, wow. That was amazing. And I understand now why she is our keynote speaker. What a beautiful, beautiful way to open before you gave us your speech. What a wonderful, wonderful performance. And you look so beautiful in your Kente. And I just want to say thank you so much for blessing us with
We
those
thank the
words.
Most High.
Oh, yes, definitely. Thank you. Thank you. And just before I even go to other speakers, for us to just, share a little bit about, how we find our authentic voices from you, Queen Asabea. How do you find your authentic voice? You have already shown us that through music as well. But how do you make sure that your voice is heard throughout our continent and globally?
This voice was given to me by the Most High, and He finds His own way to maintain it every day.
Wow.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Because that voice, you got it from God. And so he's the one who makes it a point that it's heard and gives you those
Yes.
opportunities to make it a point that it's heard. And at this point in time, I want to bring in our Queen Mother, Dr. Ntsiki. I know that these kind of things are things that bless your heart so much. And I can see you smiling broadly from the performance that you've just heard and seen. Come on in, Queen, and engage with Queen Asabea. I know that you have so much in you right now.
You know what, Amanda? I'm just so honored. I'm in tears, and thank you so much to our Queen for loving us so much, loving women, loving Africa, passing on the
Love you too.
baton. The legacy, the authenticity, the organic voice from within, and playing, that instrument, and that
We thank the
highlighted.
Most High.
Yes, the greeting, how you greeted us with such honor and love. Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you for loving us, and thank you to your son who is organizing and making sure that we have to see you in the flesh in South Africa. That's our next step. We want to see you in South Africa. Let me show you what we're going to do together when we are here in South Africa. Just have a look at this.
Mini Lala.
Oh, I'm in chat.
Mini
So
Lala.
you see, that's me and Amanda there.
Tell me the
That's
song.
how we roll. It was just before we were speaking in a
Amanu
conference.
Lala. I can't
So we
come
do
Lala.
everything together. So we
Yeah.
just want to Thank you.
Aha manulala ninkamala.
And we can't wait to see her in South Africa, indeed.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
yes.
It will be a blessing to be there because South Africa is the hometown of my mama of music,
Yes.
Mama Miriam Makeba.
Oh, yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so
Mama
much.
Africa.
Yes, Mama Africa, our mother as well. Thank you so much for blessing us with your gift and also for the wonderful words that you have shared with us, empowering us as young women, as older women, and all women indeed. We thank you so much for the blessing that you
We
are, the
thank the
gift
Most
that
High.
you are. Thank you. And we're also wishing you a happy Africa's Women's Day, hoping that you had a wonderful one indeed. And so, as we carry on, we are almost nearing the close of our summit. Dr. Ntsiki, I want to bring you in what I did say to Queen Asabea as well, in terms of finding your uniqueness and your authentic voice. How do you do that as a leader?
It really, like she was saying, it comes from within. And surely it is a gift from the Creator. When you are gifted with something in you, we are all unique with our voices. Hence, we have to use them with the passion and purpose that we were created for, and not imitate or mimic somebody. We can be inspired by someone, but you need to be in your true lane and in your true voice. Hence, even when we speak with our voices and not imitate, somebody else when we speak. So truly, when Mama Queen was saying, it has been given by the Almighty, you find the exponential power that is within you already from the creation.
I like that. Thank you so much. Now we are at a time where we have to wrap things up, and I know that you will share a vote of thanks, Dr. Ntsiki Ncoco, and we just appreciate the time that you have given us. We want to appreciate you, the platform as well, and for coming up with this wonderful summit and the topic indeed and the theme, authentic voices from Africa and engaging women on this Africa's Women's Day, and women building the Africa that they want, from our first speaker from here in South Africa, Tintswalo Makhubele. Thank you so much. We were blessed, and we heard, the wisdom that she shared. But my role right now is not to share any vote of thanks, but to acknowledge our speakers from Botswana, Patricia, Nkwane, from Nigeria, Lydia Eke, and from Namibia, Tekla Mutero, and of course, our queen that you are seeing right now, who is with us, Queen Asabea Kropa, all the way from Ghana, looking so beautiful. Thank you. We've been blessed indeed. Queen Mother, would you still want me to just share a little bit about South African Heroes Awards before
Yes,
I
please.
hand over to you?
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So South African Heroes Awards celebrates unsung community heroes. People who are uplifting our communities. They are doing wonderful things. So it is in its fifth year. This year we have a number of nominees that have been put forth that the public is voting for right now here in South Africa, saying thank you for uplifting our communities. Thank you for seeing us. And one of the categories there that I want to mention that is in line with what we're doing today is women empowerment. There are a number of people that are doing amazing things to uplift our women, making it a point that our women have a voice and that our women's voices are heard, our African women, our South African women. So it is important indeed for us to have that category there. So what I want to share right now is that we have our award ceremony that will be taking place on the 30th of September. But I also want to just encourage our guests, because I know that we are speaking to the continent, and say that please visit www.saheroesawards.co.za and learn more about what South African Heroes Awards is about. And also when we had a virtual conference as the awards, which Dr. Ntsiki was a part of, I spoke about what we want to do next year, where we are collaborating. The Queen also spoke about collaboration, Queen Asabea, and others that have been on this platform, we'll be collaborating with other people from the continent, where we get to now celebrate African heroes, because I know that there are community builders in every part of our continent. So I'm looking forward to that. And if you are looking forward to also being part of this collaboration, do visit us on the website, on social media. Here on Facebook, we are streaming also this on the South African Heroes Awards Facebook page, and on Instagram and on Twitter, we are at SA Heroes_awards. Looking forward to hearing from you and to engaging with you. So let us continue supporting our South African heroes and also look forward to building our African heroes. Thank you so much, Queen Mother, for the opportunity to share.
Thank you so much, my princess. I want you to, before we round up, because you're going to round up with all of us, to engage Queen Asabea. There's something that is authentic. Her voice and her dress code. To tell us just the background of that dress code, what it means to her and to Africa. I'll leave it to you to just engage her. Let me bring her on. Yes, she's
All
there.
right.
Yes.
Yeah. Queen
My
Asabea,
music-
yes, over to you.
Yes, please say it again.
So
Your question again.
The question, your beautiful dress code. You are called the Queen of Kente. Share a little bit about, you look so beautiful. The richness of what it means to be dressed the way that you are. You did touch a little bit on it earlier when you were doing the
Okay.
presentation, saying that the power of the Kente. Tell us about that.
It represents togetherness. It says togetherness and love of people of all nations of the world. We're bringing everybody together. This is what the Kente is saying, bringing people together as one people.
Bringing people together as one. That's the power of the Kente. Anything to add to that, Dr. Ntsiki?
Absolutely. When we lead with love, that's who we are. We don't see ourselves as, divided. We win together. Together we are better. Hence, we connected from different countries.
One people.
Yes.
Yes.
We connected from different countries. Next time, we're going to have all the continents, the countries from the continent. We could only touch base with the few of our people, that the leaders that we collaborate with, and say, let's showcase on the Africa Women's Day that we are here, and we as our African women, we want to live together, we want to work together, we love each other, and we know we complement each other. So let these authentic voices be one and speak in one platform together. Thank you so much, ma'am. Womandla.
Umandla, thank you, Queen. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. Thank you for blessing us with your gift. And thank you for just showing us this beauty on this day of Africa's Women's Day, and showing us, how we need to take pride in who we are, in our culture. Thank you. We appreciate you.
We are thanking you.
We thank you. I just want you all to know that you are in the Kente. Everybody, they inside the Kente club. Ghana, they inside. Nigeria, they inside. South Africa, they inside. Africa, they inside. The whole world, they inside the Kente club.
Love it. I love it. Beautiful. Beautiful indeed. Thank you so much. I believe this is the time now where I get to... Thank you. Thank you, Queen. This is the time that I get to bring in everyone else as we wrap up, and to just what you have said earlier. We're talking about authentic voices from Africa, and we are building a legacy here. It's women building the Africa that we want. Just one message, because I've already asked about how you make sure that your authentic voice is heard. Just one message to women in terms of how they can ensure that this does not just end up in talk, but it is something that gets done. What
One
action
woman
can the woman that's
out of
watching us right
20,000
now or that's
people,
going to watch us later,
one message
what can they take? What can they do to ensure that
out of
they
10
are doing
people.
something to uplift another woman so that she also has a voice that can be heard? I will start with you, Queen Asabea, and then
Okay.
we'll go to
I've
Lydia,
got
and
your
then
full
Patricia,
attention.
Okay.
and then go to our founder.
Okay. Our Creator created women to be behind the men. And we are doing our best to do that. Please, let's not fail the Most High. Let's do everything to get closer to Him. He will teach us what to do. He knows us better than anybody else. So let's get closer to the Creator, the Most High God. Thank you.
Thank you. Let us get closer to the Creator, the Most High God, the originator of who we are, the one who gave us the
Yes.
voices so that we
Yes.
can be assured that we'll be heard. Because if He directs us, if He orders our steps, we will be heard where we need to be heard as women. Thank you so much, Queen Asabea Crocker,
All the
for
way.
that message. And now let's go to you, Lydia.
Okay, so for me, I'll say, let's not forget who we are. You are a lioness. You must remember this. You are a lioness. And look at the features of what a lioness looks like. So you are here for such a time as this, and you are going to produce so many lions or lionesses who are also going to make their mark in Africa. So for me, your identity is important. Who am I? I'm not just a garbage. I'm just to be thrown away. I'm here to live, to make an impact, a lasting impact. I think that should be an important note we should go with at a time like this. Don't be cowed. Believe in what the grace of God in you can do to touch your own life and also the lives of so many people who are going to come across you as you travel through the journey of destiny. And don't forget to fulfill the destiny that has been ordained for you even before the foundation of the earth was laid. This is my takeaway.
Beautiful. You are predestined, and make it a point that you walk in that destiny that was preordained. Thank you so much, Lydia. And over to you, Patricia Nkwane.
Thank you. I think I loved what the Queen said when she was saying our Creator created women. And I think if you go back to the reason and the making of women, we were created as a helper. So it's upon us as women to understand that none of us is here by chance. We are all here for a purpose and a reason. There is something that is special, unique, that only you has to play, a role that only you has to play in this amazing earth. And if each one of us can get to the point of practicing and playing the role that they are here to play, you will get to understand that beyond that wall of you saying yes to your purpose, to your calling, to your reason of being here, there are so many other people that are waiting for your yes so their light as well can shine. It starts with you learning to intentionally say yes to who you came to be, so you could pass on the light to the next person that is going to pass on the light to another person. It goes all the way, but it starts with one person that decides to intentionally answer onto the call. And also the other thing that I wanted to wrap on by saying is to say this calls on also to us as women to start building those strategic networks and learn to work together, to come together, to say, okay, fine, where do we go from here and how do we continue from here? How do we become together from here? Then at the end of the day, whatever we wanted to create, we'll come to the realization of it.
That is powerful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Patricia, for that. I like what you said that, there's a role that only you can play. And if you don't play that role, then it will never be played. And you will never would have made a mark in this world. So rise up, woman, and live to the role that God has created you for. Thank you so much. You've said a mouthful indeed. And to you, Dr. Ntsiki, what would you say to that woman? What can she do?
Remember, as a woman, you are an incubator. It's only you, as a woman, who has a womb. Therefore, you have a womb to nurture. And when you nurture something, nurture it with integrity. The power to lead with integrity is the heart of God. It is the character of God that we do things for humanity and we do things with love and care and protection. Above all, women, we are the ones who are supposed to protect the life of everybody around us and not be the ones who even hide things that men are doing against women. So let us be the ones who say no to any kind of violence, be it emotional, be it financial, physical, speaking, negatively to other people. Let us be the ones who make sure we nurture a heart. Let our authentic voices give life to others. A voice, if someone has ever said something to you, do you remember the voice from the teacher at school who said you cannot do anything? Or the sibling who bullied you? Or the parent who said you will not amount to anything? Mistakenly, parents spoke out of God's word, even to their own children. Let us correct that. We are women. Let us do everything we do. Integrity to me means love. So, women, we have the power to lead with love. Let's lead and show the way with that love to the world. One love to all of us. Thank you, my princess.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. One love indeed. Thank you, my queen. Thank you for those beautiful words that you said. Women need to stand for what is right. And, some of the children that are walking wounded around here is because of what was said to them by their mothers, by women in their lives. So if we start changing what we say to, our young ones, what we say to others as women and start saying positive things, indeed you will have a generation of women and men that are empowered, that know who they are, that believe in who they are. And I know that you have a powerful message that says, African woman, as you rise, lift me up. So I'm not the one closing. You will be closing, and I know I'm going to hear that. So, but before I close, I just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity to do what I'm doing here, to moderate this session. What a powerful summit it has been indeed, to celebrate our authentic voices from Africa and to make it a point that our voices are heard. And what a privilege it is for me as well to be in the media space where my voice, my authentic voice, is heard through the media platform that I find myself in, be it on radio, which I am part of. And I'm blessed to be part of Channel Africa, a station that speaks to Africans,
Network is bad though.
and we say that we
Go, go,
are
go, go.
speaking from an African perspective. We want to make it a point that we are telling authentic African stories. And our stories are heard from us as Africans. We are saying that we don't want outsiders telling us about us. And we can see that there are some media houses that are growing within our continent that are coming from the West and pushing a different narrative. So they're saying that come to us as Africans, we will tell you the stories that we know are authentic stories from Africa. And with that being said, I like that, Queen Asabea traced all of this to our Creator. And so I want to say that what is in Jeremiah 1, verse 5, where the word says that I knew you before I formed you in your mother's womb. Before you were born, I set you apart and appointed you as my prophet to the nations. Each and every one of us has a divine purpose that God has set us on this earth for. And Patricia also said that, there's a role that only you can play. So rise up to that and make it a point that your voice is heard and you play your role and you play it well. And if you don't know it yet, consult with your maker and he will guide you by his Holy Spirit. Thank you, Queen Mother. Over to you.
Oh, thank you so much, my princess. I see Queen Tintswalo is online as well. Can she maybe give her opportunity to close up? She's here.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for joining us again, my queen, and for just blessing us for being the first speaker today. And so, just a parting shot. What do you say to that woman that's watching us now that doesn't know how to necessarily make her voice heard? What can she do?
Wow. Firstly, we're honored to have the Queen Mother with us. That's absolutely fantastic. I want to thank the speakers for tonight. They were wonderful. My parting shots for tonight is we need more of this. The fact that as women, we are able to connect across the continent and across the globe, we need to use this platform as much as we can to make sure that we share this information and practicalize it. I want us to add more women in power, especially women in parliament who needs our support. I want the Queen Mother to help us in an institution or an academy that will start to develop our own leaders that we are taking to parliament. I want us to make sure that we have an academy for young women that we are grooming economically, and we are able to make sure that as they grow, they understand that we are building the Africa we want today. Africa was built by women. Therefore, we shall have women presidents across the continent that would have interest of women development, women empowerment, women leadership, women economic emancipation. We need to emancipate ourselves from bondage. Women believe they are left in the periphery with nothing. But from where we are sitting, we are a jewel. We are flowers of the nations. We are having the potential of changing the status quo of women. Africa cannot have a face of a woman as a symbol of poverty, but will have a face of a woman to show economic empowerment, economic emancipation. Let's use all platforms available. Let's use the BRICS conferences that are taking place. Let's create our own economic hub as women. Let's come up with our own fundraising mechanism through the women companies. We do have women trailblazers that have made it through across the globe, from the agri sector to the economic sector, to the mining sector, to the IT sector, to the academy, to the researchers, to the ordinary women who are the civil society on the ground, who are able to move and shake our earth. We are supposed to empower each one and empower even our young men so that they don't do evil things and ill things of rape and women abuse. It's us who are going to teach the world of how we want to be respected, of how we want to be seen, and we will put proper values for the continent. I'm glad we have the Queen Mother who speak to my interest of making sure that issues of food security resonate with the mother. Issues of culture and diversity resonates with the mother. So having her in our midst, it unlocks many challenges that we are facing as women. I mean, in the agri space, we have food security, we have indigenous foods that can change the face of the continent and the entire world, where we can start to export our foods, where we can start to export our music, like Mama Miriam Makeba and all the others, the Angelique Kijo, the Salif Keita, you name them. So we have the role models that are there, but we need to praise our role models and showcase the work that they are having. Having said all this, let me thank you, Dr. Ncoco, and let me thank our young journalist, Juno, who I love so much because of her tenacity and courage to take the continent forward. Forward, women, we go. Let's celebrate Africa. Let's start to build the Africa we want today so that our young people have the better future. Thank you.
Thank
Oh,
you. Thank you so much. Beautifully summed up, well said, and the importance really of bringing on parliamentarians, decision makers, and making it a point that we advance our continent. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Over to you, Dr. Ntsiki.
thank you so much, my princess. You know, when we have a keynote speaker who is a multidisciplinary artist, She speaks with authentic, the organic voice, and even the instrument. She plays the songs. So she's going to bless us with a beautiful voice, with a song and a great rendition. We just want to say thank you again, Mama, Queen Mother, Asabea Kropper. Over to you, Queen.
Please unmute.
Oh, sorry.
Divided we fall. Let's come together, Africa. Together, Africa, Africa women. United we stand. Together, together. Hey, Nikitoria Pinoko, Nanile, Toria Pinoko, Nanile. Hey, Nikitoria Pinoko, Nanile. Hey, Nikitoria Pinoko, Nanile. Toria. Yedena Niken. Hey, united we stand, divided we fall. United we stand, divided we fall. Hey, Victoria Pinoko Nanile. Hey, Victoria Pinoko Nanile. Ene Victoria Pinoko Nanile. Oh yeah.
Thank you. Wow, thank you so much, Queen. The voice, the actual voice, the a cappella music is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. You hear the voice coming from the soul, and thank you for blessing us. And as you say, thank you, Mom. As you rise, lift me up. That is our message at the end of this conference. As you rise, those who are on top lift others up. We do not leave men out of our collaborations because they are part of us. We carry them anyway, we nurture them. So when they advance, it is their time. We nurtured them, we fed them, we made sure they have muscles so that they can protect us. And then they can, when they are put into the tables before us in the boardrooms, bring us, sponsor us, collaborate with us, share opportunities with us. And as women, we have no spirit of jealousy, we have no spirit of queen bee, but we have a spirit of love to unite, to work together, to bring each other. If there's a loaf of bread in a corner, to say to others, come, it's in this corner. Let's come and share together so that we can all make sure our families, our continent, our countries are up to the integrity that God created us for. Africa is rich. We don't need to cry when there's a war in Ukraine and say, now we can't do anything. They depend on us with natural resources. For us, we do not have to be lazy. If Africa is crying when there is a war somewhere, it means we are lazy. Let us not be lazy, Africa, because we have all the grounds. We have all the development in Africa through agriculture is how our continent was taken over. So let's go back to the soil. The continent has the soil, we have the grounds, we have farming. Let's go back. Let's bring the resources together. We are the Africa that can feed the whole world. And I want to charge you on this one. It was researched and known that the Africa map is not as small as what you see on the globe. It is so big. So let us be the exponential people that God created us to be. So as you rise, lift me up. As Mama is rising, she has lifted us up, and all of us, let us have the positive news to the globe. Thank you so much. Over to you, my princess, to close.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ntsiki Ncoco, founder of Power to Lead, presenter of Power to Lead, the platform that you are on. Thank you so much for making it a point that we celebrate this day, the 61st anniversary of Africa's Women's Day, in a way that, empowers women, because that's what this day should be about, empowering women and making it a point that, we are imparting words of wisdom, but not just only words, but that we are equipping women to act right where they are, in whichever part of the continent they are in. So thank you so much. And I want us to, yes, it's good to have a point of reference on those that have come before us, but I know that it doesn't have to end there. We said that we had President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was the first female president of Liberia and the first female president to ever been put in that position in the African continent. Joyce Hilda Banda, former president of Malawi, and currently we have Salehe Zulu as the president of Ethiopia, and also President Samia Suluhu of Tanzania. And we know that there are more women presidents that will come. We are not only going to have reference to just these ones that we've mentioned. And for us to have that, you need to keep empowering the women of tomorrow, the girl child. And it is such an honor to be among women here who are doing just that, who are making it a point that they are lifting up young women, women that will be leaders in the future. So thank you so much, Queen Mother, Queen Asabea, for what you are doing. I know that you are surrounded by young people as well. You are imparting, what you know, the worth of who we are, the culture. It's amazing indeed what you are doing and the pride that you have in who you are, Queen of Kente. Thank you so much. And to Queen Tintswalo, thank you. Thank you, Mama. And to Lydia, who joined us, thank you so much. Patricia, Tekla, thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless Africa.
Thank you so much, my princess. That was a closing prayer. God bless Africa. As I send everybody off, we are surely going to send you off with our beautiful African dance. And next time we'll be doing this together in person. Thank you so much for being with us at Power to Lead Show. Your host, Ntsiki Ncoco. God bless you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.